Hello to my fellow Aquarians. I am so excited to be here with you. I will be sharing with you the major changes that will be occurring for you and how you may be impacted. So keep on watching to find out. Aquarius, let's get into what is going on in February. So March is the big one, and February is just a preparation and a gradual build up as well. So pay attention to how you're feeling during February and what's coming up for you in your life, because it may be a sneak peek into what will occur in March. So journaling during this time could be of great value. Let's start off with February the 4th, because we're going to have Venus, the planet of love and relationships, move into Aries. And this is significant because in March, it will go retrograde in Aries. So that means that a lot of relationships, that could be a marriage, that could be a romantic relationship, that could be a partnership, that could be a friendship. And even when it comes to values and creativity, even finances could be impacted. Venus moving into Aries moves into your third house. The third house is all about communication and adaptability. So for you, relationships may be very active in terms of there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of communication, like there's a huge emphasis on that, and perhaps especially those that are being impacted by the retrograde that's to come in March, there may be some important conversations that come up in order to navigate through your relationship. So look at if you have anything in Aries and late Pisces, because that's where the Venus retrograde is going to occur in March. And I spoke more about this in your 2025 horoscope. If you haven't checked that out, I will leave the link down below. So Venus moving into your third house, a lot of activity around conversations. And that is the relationship stuff. But just in general, just outside of the retrograde energy, Venus has a lot of fun in the third house because she's able to be social. She's able to go around and have fun and enjoy life and the environment she's around. Like, that's Venus. Venus is a very social energy. And when it's in the third house, it's very social. The third house is connected to Gemini and air energy. It's connected to Mercury. So that's very natural to you. Some of you may find yourself finding pleasure in traveling as well, and in probably like learning things. So that may be an exciting time. Or even like if you are in a relationship and you're one of the few that are not being impacted by the retrograde, you may enjoy going out together, and that may be very stimulating for your relationship. Also on February the 4th, we have Jupiter, that is in Gemini, in your fifth house, going direct. Jupiter is in Gemini, which is an air sign, so it's really good for you, a lot of yous. And when it goes forward, it's just going to have more fun than it already was. I mean, in the fifth house, it's just living it large. It's living its life. And if there were certain things that you kind of had to navigate through or figure out throughout this retrograde cycle of Jupiter, particularly concerning whether it's how you experience joy, pleasure, when it comes to self-expression or the inner child, or even children, this could also impact relationships. Well, now it's time to move forward and make the most out of this, because Jupiter in Gemini and in the fifth house is a really good thing. It's a really positive, exuberant, exciting energy. So enjoy it while you can, because Jupiter will be moving into your sixth house. And when Jupiter moves into the sixth house rules a little more of the serious aspects of life, such as work, health, and wellness, and your daily routine and structure. So while Jupiter is in your fifth house, have fun, enjoy it. It's a very fertile energy in the fifth house. There's so much creativity, so much joy to experience here, and it's a really pleasant transit. Let's move on to February the 7th, because we're going to have, to me, it's a rare alignment, because Neptune and the North Node will be in a conjunction. The North Node moved into Pisces on January the 11th and will remain in the Pisces and Virgo axis until July 2026. Why this is rare to me is because the North Node will be conjunct Neptune. The North Node is in Pisces. The ruler of Pisces is Neptune, so it's conjunct its own ruler, which makes it very important and very powerful and strong. The North Node is the energy we're moving forward in. Sometimes that moving forward in is like a destined type of energy. Sometimes if that energy collectively is kind of like infringed upon, it could just be something we have to experience as a collective. And with Neptune, there's a very pleasant, blissful, divine side to it, but then there's also the shadows, because light and dark exists, right? Let me get into the pleasant aspect of this. So that energy will be occurring in your second house, and if you've watched your 2025 horoscope, I mentioned how there is a focus on your self-worth, on your values, which manifests in terms of how much abundance enters your life, whether that's through resources or money. And there's a focus on that because not only have you had Saturn in your second house, but the North Node here as well, which is a continuation. With the Neptune and the North Node, there could be a huge focus on your spiritual self-worth, finding your self-worth through your spiritual gifts and abilities, your level of understanding and connection and empathy. But also creativity is a massive one here, because you could work with your creativity to bring a lot of abundance in. So that could be a very productive time as well, because Saturn is also in the mix. So working with your artistic gifts and abilities, your creativity, perhaps that's mixed with your spirituality to bring forth abundance into your life. The type of abundance that is in alignment. You know, there's this aligned energy within you where you're feeling super in tune with your higher self or the divine, the universe, and you're working with what you are naturally gifted in, which then allows you to bring forth abundance into your life. That is the positive, pleasant aspect of this. If we look at the shadow manifestation of this, well, Neptune can bring confusion. There could be things that are not as clear, so there's a lack of clarity. There may be some hidden energies that you can't really put your finger on or you can't understand, and that leans towards a confusion and the mist and the fog. And there could also be a tendency of escaping or just being under this illusion. So that's something to be mindful of. I'm not that concerned with that form of escapism because Saturn is there. So when Saturn is there, it requires you to restructure an area of life. It requires you to be disciplined. It requires you to shatter any type of illusions and rose-tinted glasses you're wearing. However, there is a bit of a distance between Saturn and this North Node Neptune conjunction. So those are the shadow aspects of this conjunction, and it really depends on what's going on in your life and what other transits you're going through. But the thing is, when you're aware of what is going around and when you're aware of the cosmic energies, and you have a better understanding of how to navigate through certain situations, because it just gives you a better sense of what is going on. So the best way to work with this is with your creativity, okay? Because there's an abundance of creativity available. Now let's move on. February the 12th, we have a full moon in your opposite sign, Leo, at 24 degrees. So the sun will be in Aquarius and the moon will be in Leo. So look at where 24 degrees of both Aquarius and Leo fall in your chart, as well as 23 degrees of Taurus, because this full moon is being triggered by Taurus. There's a very strong T-square going on, which means that there could be an unpredictable change, shift situation that occurs during the period of this full moon, where it kind of just catches you off guard and it requires you to make a change and make a shift. Sometimes change for an Aquarian is really easy because you're ruled by Uranus. You're all about the future and moving forward and going on these new adventures, experiences, and you look for excitement and you want to expand, right? However, the stubborn aspect, the fixed element of the fixed signs is a bit difficult, because that's what kind of sometimes holds you back from change. And it depends on all your other aspects and what else is going on, because sometimes you have to kind of let go of, you know, the doubts. You got to let go of the fears. You got to let go of just anything that is kind of holding you back so that you can evolve into the next stage of your greatness. So it's very possible to have some sort of change that occurs. And because we're looking at the sun and we're looking at the moon, we're looking at home, we're looking at emotions, we're looking at relationships. Any aspect of your life can go through a major change. So it's important to look at where that 24 degrees of Leo and Aquarius fall in your chart, what axis, because that's the axis that is going to go through a major change. And then also what's as important is to look at where Uranus is in your chart, where 23 degrees of Uranus is, because that area of life, wherever Uranus is, may trigger the areas that the sun and the moon are at. So this is your annual, I was going to say this is your annual full moon, but it's actually the annual full moon for Leos. But nonetheless, it's as important because in order to have a full moon, the sun and the moon have to be in opposite signs and positions. So take care, take it easy. Whatever change comes, embrace it. Embrace the change, okay? That is super important for you. February the 14th, Mercury enters Pisces, and then February the 18th, the Sun enters Pisces. So there's a lot of emphasis on the Piscean energy, and that's all going to occur in your second house. So there can be a lot of creative conversations. There can be a lot of creative energy that you just feel as soon as you go into February, and you have all these kind of ideas, and maybe you feel a little different as well in terms of like your self-worth. During this time, it's very important as well not to like get into victimhood, because that's with Neptune's influence here, that can be a possibility as well. So just be mindful of that. Work on what uplifts you and what makes you feel really good about yourself without the tendency to escape. Okay, when there's a lot of like Pisces energy, you have to look at what the opposite sign is, and that's Virgo. And even though the South Node, which is a past, it's in Virgo, and it's about letting go of the past and moving into the future, which is a North Node, but you still need to have a healthy balance of two of the energies that are influencing you the most. Where there is a major focus on Pisces energy, there needs to be the Virgo energy that balances it out. So when it comes to practicality and logic and structure and discipline, that is something you also have to integrate into your life to get the best results, okay? February the 23rd, Mars in Cancer goes direct. So it's been in retrograde since last year, late last year, and it was in retrograde in Leo, and then it moved into Cancer. So it may have been impacting your relationships and partnerships, and just type of any karmic situation or person that is in your life that really is playing out as a mirror. There may have been some conflicts or confrontation there. And then with Mars moving into Cancer, that was impacting and still is your sixth house, which is the area of life that rules over health, wellness, work, your daily routine. This is how you are of service to others. There may have been a requirement or a need to really go inwards and look at just like your daily life and how it's structured and how it serves you, and is it working out? Maybe there was some things regarding your wellness and your health, mind, body, soul, and spirit that you had to work through, or maybe it had to do with work and even like goals and ambitions, because that's what Mars rules over. So there may have been a lot of things that you had to go over, but now it's time to apply the lessons, integrate them, and move forward, okay? So now this area of life is moving forward. Now let's take a look at the new moon. February the 27th, we have a new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees. Again, this will be impacting your second house. Like when I say there's so much Pisces energy, there is so much Pisces energy. Look, we got the sun, we got the moon, we got Saturn, Mercury, we got Neptune. We're going to have like the Neptune North Node conjunction. Like there's so much Piscean energy. New moons begin, I was meant to say, new moons bring forth new beginnings, new cycles, new chapters. And for those that have anything in Pisces in the natal chart close to 9 degrees, you may be impacted the most, where there's this new change, a new shift, a new cycle that begins in your life. This could also be like dreams manifesting into your life, or just like your creativity bringing forth this new change or new opportunity, or even when it comes to like really expanding in like your spirituality. So because this is also occurring in the second house, this could impact self-worth, self-value, resources, money, finances, and it could be a time where there is some sort of change or development that occurs. So Aquarius, this is an action-packed month, but wait till you get to March. You are going to have Pluto stay in your sign until 2044. There's a lot of energy in your second house. Venus is getting ready to go retrograde, so it's going to kick off in your third house and then move into your second house. You got a beautiful Jupiter and Gemini in your fifth house, so really enjoy that. And then Mars is moving forward in your sixth house, and you're going to have this major full moon in your opposite sign, Leo, and Uranus is really going to bring some sort of change. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see your monthly horoscope for March, because March is a major month. There's an eclipse, there's a Venus retrograde, it's the beginning of the astrological new year. There's so many changes occurring. So if you want to see your monthly forecast for March, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up or leaving me a comment. And if you want to go deeper and learn more about your chart and what's in store for you the next coming year, let me know by checking out my booking website, and I'll see you